So hello there, welcome to Damien's Trains and Travels and welcome to the video. And in this video I'll be looking at a number of different Ertl adverts, and if you go under playlists on my channel you can see the Thomas Ertl collection videos under a playlist, and I did a video 8 years ago it would be of the Ertl advertisements that were inside the magazines, and a number of other ones about the shows as well. And as you can see I've got some more just here in some other magazines. So again, there was lots of different competitions to enter for either Ertl or other Thomas Tank Engine products, and lots of other adverts as well. And I really like these magazines. What I liked about the magazines, as well as obviously all the Ertl advertisements, was obviously the main thing, which was the stories. It was, I suppose, in one way you could put it, a breath of fresh air from the TV series, because I tended to find the TV series, you know, there were certain characters that I liked, like, I don't know, maybe example, the Diesel or Scruffy, that very rarely appeared in the TV series, but they appeared a lot in the magazine stories. And it weren't just them, there was a number of other characters, like, I don't know, Terence the Tractor and Trevor, for example, that appeared a lot. And there was also a lot of stories with the human characters as well that we didn't see so much. And also there were some characters that were especially created, like, I don't know, Angus the Fire Engine, for example, and the White Van, that only appeared in the magazine stories, you know. So it was something a bit different. So I did really like the magazines, say, for obviously for all the competitions and that as well. So I've got this magazine from 2001, and in this magazine there's an advert. Again, most of them are by Character Warehouse, and in this one there's a list of all the new characters. So it doesn't actually show photos of them, but it shows a list of all the new characters that are coming out. But then I've got a very similar advert in another magazine that I've got here, and it shows you obviously the new characters, so mainly the ones from Series 5 that were mentioned in the previous ones. And in this one it does actually show photos of them, so like you've got Thumper, Butch, Bertram, and the funny thing is here it says Butch's name on it, and when Butch came out, his actual character, the card said on it, Soda or Heavy Recovery Unit. It was only seemed to be on here they called him Butch. It wasn't when Butch first appeared, he didn't really speak, and it wasn't until much later on in the series that he started speaking and gained a more prominent role. And on this advert you can see as well, there's in the corner a waste bin, a face cloth, a flannel, and a bedside light. And I actually still, in fact, I've still got the waste bin and probably the one of the flannels, but it also shows the one of the sets as well, which again, I've got some of the sets as well, and the boxes as well. And then here there's another advert, again by Character Warehouse, and it shows the new characters from the Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And although Thomas is put under there, which I don't understand why, because Thomas isn't really a new character, although it was a different sort of packaging. But it shows Splatter Dodge, Diesel 10 and Lady. And then you've also got the My First Thomas toys, and we had a couple of them when I was younger, still got a few lying around. So I've got this other magazine here, and in this one I've actually got this advert inside another magazine. I mean, a lot of the magazines, some of the adverts you saw again and again, same ones. Again, I think this is probably one of my more favourite ones because it shows definitely a lot more characters in it. And again, in the corner you can see it shows new characters. So like you've got Cranky the Crane, Thumper, Butch, and Bertram. And again, it shows Thomas the Magic Railroad characters. And also, it also makes me laugh because it says new movie characters, and it says Percy, James, Henry, Bertie, Annie Cloudbell, Troublesome Trucks. But what just again makes me laugh is that them characters are not actually brand new, although they probably came out for a short period of time in the Thomas and the Magic Railroad type of packaging that some of the characters came in. And then I've got another one here, and again this one shows the new characters that come out in Series 5. So you've got Derek the Diesel, Arian Burt, the Fire Engine, the Horrid Lorries, and Tiger Moth, although it's called Biplane. One of my favourite characters, and this one shows you some of the accessories and sets again that you can get as well. Quite another nice advert. And I remember seeing this one when I was younger and getting quite excited about them characters coming out. And then you've got another one here that come out, and again in the corner you can see that it mentions about Arian Burt, the lorries, Derek, the Fire Engine and Biplane, Tiger Moth coming out, but it only shows them as the illustrations. It doesn't show the actual models in this one. Again, I quite like this advert because on the page next to it as well you've got a number of different characters as well as like the main ones like Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy and Thomas, who I sort of count as the main ones, and obviously Toby and Duck as well. It shows a variety of characters, and there's a competition to win some Brio characters, which again I have actually got packed away somewhere. And I often get people ask me, what my favourite type of range was. So you've got obviously the wooden range, which I've got, and then later on the take long range and the take and play range as well, which pretty much replaced the Ertl range. And I get people ask me what my favourite sort of collection was, and I think that my favourite one was definitely the Ertl range. And although I'd say scale wasn't fantastic with a lot of the models, on the whole I felt that they did a lot better job portraying the engines in Ertl, and the detail was a lot better. And again, if you look at some of these adverts, the prices were definitely a lot cheaper as well compared to what they are now. If Ertl's around now, I mean, I don't know if it would cease trading like it did, unfortunately, but I think the prices would be a lot more extortionate. And you got some good deals back then on items, and they were relatively cheap compared to what they are now as well. In the magazines as well, another thing they did was they had a postbag page. It's called Percy's Postbag, or the mail page, or whatever, where people send in drawings and poems and things like that. And I entered it a few times. One drawing I actually remember sending off to them was one of the drawing of Donald, who's one of the Scottish twins. Never unfortunately got it published. However, there was a Bananas in Pyjamas magazine, and I actually got one of my drawings of Morgan the Bear in that, and that was actually the last ever issue of Bananas in Pyjamas. And again, that was by Fun to Learn, who did like the Mr. Men, as you can see advertised here, like the Mr. Men, Rupert Bear, Fireman Sam, lots of other children's characters as well. So it was nice to actually get that published. However, there was a competition. Again, there was many competitions, and one that I entered was to win George, the steamroller, and I actually won that model of George, as you can see here. And I have got models of George in the box, and like this one in particular on the left, you can see here, looks pretty much what George looked like in the Railway series. And I think George's Ertl model was more to capture what he looked like during the TV series. And this model of George, the Ertl one, actually has a green roof, and there's actually a magazine story where George has a green roof, but his roof, what you see many times, is actually painted black. But it's still a good model nevertheless. Like I said, there was a few things with Ertl that I did say that maybe weren't as accurate as they could be, but on the whole I think they were a very good range. And definitely a great loss, and I definitely, I'm certainly glad that I grew up in the era when the Ertl range was, I suppose, king in a way, really, the Thomas Tank Engine products. And again, you can see here I've got some adverts in magazines from the late 90s. And you've got ones like Scruffy, Bulstrode, Wilbit 16. And again, what I liked about Ertl was they brought out characters that were in the Railway series, not just the TV series. And there was a lot of characters that obviously appeared in the Railway series and never made it into the TV series, but it was nice that they actually made them. And I think that's why, in my opinion, Ertl was definitely one of the better ranges compared to what there is now. And there's one advert that I've got here, and it shows new characters. So you've got the Pump Truck, Smudger, Flying Scotsman, and I don't know why, but for some reason I in particular remember seeing this one and getting quite excited about the characters, mainly the Pump Truck and Flying Scotsman. And again, if you look under my Ertl playlist, you'll see that I actually did a video naming my top 15 favourites, and the Flying Scotsman and the Pump Truck were actually mentioned in that one as my favourite models that Ertl brought out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the different adverts. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask, please comment below. But yeah, I just remember these adverts very well from the magazines for different reasons. And, yeah, very memorable. So I suppose a bit nostalgic for me now. I never really realised it at the time. But again, I've probably said this before, I think I was lucky to grow up in the Thomas era that I did. Especially when you compare it to now. I think a lot of children unfortunately wouldn't have a clue. But thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.